thorough pace, premium racing analytics, allowing bettors to identify races with extreme pace scenarios in a matter of seconds. Capital OTB's mobile wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with Capital OTB's mobile wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to number 40 of the Handicappers Report, which is it's great out. I mean, if you have any free time at all today,
this might be the best day, in my opinion.
This is the best morning. But it's kind of been a tie for first the last 5. We had about 10 great ones to start the morning session. What we do here. Remind me never to wear the good humor jacket again. I don't like it. I like the way it looks in person with the bright pink and green, but it's beautiful out. If you have some time, listen, we have 11 races today. We kick off
glowing. It's as I'm sitting here looking at it, there is a glow on TV.
This is the beat the meat glow. I am, this is what I have going, and I don't know what I did.
Right. You deserve to be glowing.
Thank you. I had the football game on in the other room, and that's kind of like that's my radio, and I talk all the time. I have Seth on almost all year in the in the first floor, and I'm the only one home. I put the volume up so that everywhere I go I got Seth, so I follow it, etc. So I was like, I think I made a mistake, but it didn't matter because I do it. So I noticed that there were 7 cancellation races, 10 races where I had no runner. So going in today, I'm 94 for 389, 828.10. I'm $50.10. And I don't think we're having 26 races today, so I'm out. But more importantly, this guy killing it on the weekends. Forget what you read in the TU or the digital age. It is not accurate. What is accurate is that in golf terms, and they had the Walker Cup yesterday at St. Andrews, we are 3-1, which means we're up 3, and there's 1 match to play. So for the 3rd year in a row. Now, the last year we kind of had a big edge early, but 2 years ago it came down to the Saturday. This year it came down to the Sunday, so that's good competition. But yeah, I think there'll be some type of correction or something. But when you wake it up, we do not have a 1-game lead, and Seth won yesterday. Seth had a great day yesterday. Could have had a better day. If the last race had
dark horse play of the day. That was so frustrating. I had Progeny.
That's horse racing.
I want to say 24-1. Progeny goes out, takes the lead on a 2-turn turf race, and I look up and I see the fraction of the first half 51. I'm like, you couldn't ask for a better setup, and then just tossed out the anchor in the. How do you not?
Only if it's a grade 2 can you take 51 home.
How do you not? Hang on for a piece of it with those early because I literally they hit. I look up that fraction. I'm like, okay, dark horse is going to do something for me today, and then that was frustrating. And then I was telling you the last race, I looked up at Brightwork because you had Brightwork on top too, right?
I did not. I had Ways and Means for 3rd. I took a shot with Sugar High, who was not good, but I had Brightwork for 2nd. I did not.
But I looked up. I was sitting there and looked up, and when I played. Brightwork was 4-1. We were talking before
the separation was going to be.
It was just, and so I played some doubles, and my top pick in the finale was I went up at maybe 6-1 or something. The doubles are really good. I would have crushed it, and I hit the double, but it wound up to be the favorite who got the jump on my horse. I think I'm biased, I will admit, but I think my horse was best. Just didn't kind of get. Open and get the move until a little too late. By then, the winner was off and running. But that last race was frustrating.
The old line, it's one of my favorite jokes of all time. Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not following you. Well, just because you're biased doesn't mean you're not right. It's like you might be biased, but you can still be right. Couple things yesterday. Just obviously, it's a recap type day mostly, but the way the game is played, Brightwork, she was outstanding. But I will say, and I had Ways and Means in 3rd, but I don't know if it's sheet players or whatever. But I will tell you, I am shocked at how well she ran for 2 reasons. One is she did follow up that dynamic debut.
Yeah.
I was hoping she would regress to about an 82, so that scares me going forward for her. Secondly, as I'm watching the race unfold, I'm thinking, for a horse that goes in third, that's odds on, I'm like, it can't go any better for me. She looks terrible, and this is where Fox's broadcast helps me, even though I know it drives the regular horse player crazy because we want the pan shot. I know I can eventually get the pan shot, so I actually like the close-up of them on the backstretch. I'm watching her be completely uncomfortable, and Gary Stevens made a great call right under the line. She had an incident on the backside, but I'm thinking she's going to be awful today. None of it her fault. And then I'm watching, and I never thought she was going to beat Brightwork, who we both hold in high esteem. But I have to say, walking away, it was Brightwork's day to get her, because for her finish, I'd be interested in people, the Rogozin sheets and other Thorograph sheets that take ground loss and everything into consideration, because I have to tell you, I was against her betting, but she followed up that 90 the way that not all of them do. She was real good in defeat, but Brightwork's undefeated. She wins a grade 1, which in my estimation makes her invaluable as a broodmare. It's not what we talk about on the Handicappers Report too often, but I will say this about Ways and Means, boy. To me, just train right up to the Breeders' Cup. I saw Proxy. Sounds like the list of horses that are done racing before the Breeders' Cup is growing.
Brightwork, he said he's debating Alcibiades. He may hit there.
I listen. They live with the horse. When you had him on, I thought, and listen, the Spinaway was coming back in today's day and age fast. You saw Becky's Joker scratched out. I don't know why, but I was thinking that's, might not be the worst thing that happened. A, against that group. B, taking on the 3 juvenile stakes races nowadays is almost impossible. It's hard to believe that overall a generation ago won all 3 within 24 days, and then DeHare. But he came right out off, another one of our TV moments off air talking. He's like, no, we're going in the Spinaway. I'm like, okay, because time is such a thing. I'd be like, I'm training up as much as it hurts horse. I'm like, just train up to the race. She was good. The other one might be freakishly good.
Yeah, I mean, it was, second career start. That's a big ask to move from the debut maiden breaker into a grade 1. That was a perfectly good performance by Ways and Means. Both of them will be interesting watching going forward, because also now we got to test 2 turns.
It'll also be interesting if both their next races to be in the Breeders' Cup, how the bettors handle it. Because as we both got it right yesterday, going, let's see, 8 hours before the race, we thought there would be, I think we agree here. I know. Yeah. I thought there would be great separation on the tilt board between Ways and Means and Brightwork. Did you feel the same way?
No, I was surprised.
Oh, you were the
separation.
surprised.
Yeah.
I was like,
when I looked up and saw 4 to 1.
You're the guy that told me the strength of the Buyer's speed figures.
Yeah, but the experience and just to me, and I'm not surprised Ways and Means was favored. I'm surprised at that separation.
King Kong favored.
When I looked up, Brightwork was 4 to 1, and that's when I jumped in and played the doubles. Eventually went off at 3 to 1, but yeah, 45 cents of the dollar for Ways and Means, and even 3 to 1 for Brightwork. So
now here's something I tell the audience, because somebody would probably pull me aside. Sugar High was not the type of horse I usually pick, because I expect a regression after a really strong debut. And I think the buyer, you have it here, was an 80, right? I won't be able to see it with the wrong glasses, right?
Yes.
But I thought I'd get the price. That was really what it was. It was like, I thought there'd be regression from easy, and I was expecting an atypical thought. But as I say, you get to ask more questions. What you go off at?
She eventually went at 7 to 1.
Right. So you're allowed to ask more.
A tick, or up a tick.
You're allowed to ask more questions as the price was longer. I asked the question. She had nothing the last 2.5 furlongs in a good race. You saw the incident with Ms. Sense, who apparently just is having a problem in the afternoon all of a sudden. So we hope everything works out there.
I mean, kind of freaked out in the gate. I mean, if you didn't see the head on, it looked
And the
like
other day was
looked like
freaked
maybe
out behind the gate.
Yeah, it looked like maybe her legs went out.
Oh,
from
that was
under her,
scary.
And
then she got locked in. It looked like her head got locked in behind it.
Yeah.
And I'm worried about. Oh, that was rough.
Yeah.
And
and if you played Miss Sense and you didn't hang around to here, she was declared a non-starter. So
get your money back.
That's
where the scoopers. I don't know how many scoopers are around anymore. But
Stupor.
Stoopers?
Yeah, stupor.
Why
they stoop over.
Oh, I thought that it was because they scoop up the tickets.
Oh no, they stoop. They
They're
stoop.
stoopers
They're all bending down
in the
to pick up.
garbage and everything.
And you're right. How many of those are there anymore? Because the number.
I know at least one of them's here. I've seen them for 35 years.
I tried it years ago when I was a kid. I came up here and tried it one day.
I like how they tear them when if they've
they've
already looked over.
I had a bag and I filled up the bag. And those days it was not easy.
No.
Now people stand there at the machine and just feed them in. But I think I had to wait till the next day till the chart was out. But then I sat there with my bag and I got like $40.
Listen,
I never did it again, but
listen, that's when you're a kid, $40. That's the whole week. That's the whole week.
You're right.
I tell people, I mean, before I worked, I've told this story before, and this is storytelling day, folks. When I was a kid, and we don't even have the clubhouse exchange, that's this year's change. I came to the track with, I parked as far away down Nelson Avenue because it'd be the least expensive. I went into the grandstand, which I think was $2, and I think clubhouse was $5. And I bet the Quinella in the second race, hoping to hit it. So the first thing I could do is pay the $3 clubhouse exchange and go in the clubhouse. That was my entire modus operandi from, obviously the legal age of 18 being able to bet.
I do remember wanting to cash tickets so I could buy a hot dog.
I'm there too. I've told the story. The jumbo dogs and the Coke. $4. I left $1 for the tip. Oh, yes. Oh, so and if you haven't been watching, Del Mar, we do Del Mar. I do Del Mar, which I truly appreciate and love. We were out on them. We were out a couple days ago at Donner Lake when Flavia and Pratt went out and had a great day on Pacific Classic Day. I mean, just he's a great rider, etc. So we got one more day with them. I don't know what the autumn brings, but because Del Mar does not close today, folks. Del Mar is still running. Saratoga is closing. So we've dragged 2 summers of Del Mar and Saratoga across the line. Now, I have a question you might not know the answer to, and I'm serious about this. I want to get one of those pictures, that official track picture of Missing Fortune, and then I'm going to go to Finger Lakes and stalk Kai Barkoa to get his signature on it. And I am going to get it framed because that's the $35 horse that locked it up the other day. My math was incorrect before then, and I'm glad because the stress might have been too much like last year. But is there a length of time you can wait to call up Adam to get, I want to buy the picture? I know there's a cost, but I don't think you have to do it right away, right? I mean,
no,
because I can't do it today. I have obligations.
You can go online and order those, I think, but I'm not positive about that. I think. That would make sense in this.
My last thing was, I know that's not called the Schenectady Gazette, but I'm old. I noticed that the Schenectady Gazette, the Saratoga Special, and the Saratogian, the S's, don't put the ROI, and I came up with a thing. They are analog in the digital world. You got to put it on there. But the 3 S's do not put it in. I know that because today, for the first time, you talk about newspapers. I used to always be able to get tons of newspapers at the Stewart's on 13N. I was there early this morning. It was like 4 left. 4 in totality. There's not too many newspapers around. I can't get a hold of Glen Swallows Post-Star. Our good friend and old colleague Kyle Burnell doesn't write for them anymore. But it's very difficult to get your hands on. But I saw the pink sheet for the first time today, all season.
Yeah, I've caught the pink sheet a few times. And
is it Sam Hollingsworth is doing the big write-up? He gets the whole page. He gets page 2 of it.
That sounds right.
That's what Nick Kling used to do years ago.
Yeah.
Now, do you remember this? I don't know. It's long past it before we knew each other. But years ago, and I love this, at Ciro's, they would come around by about 6:30 with the results of the days you just saw. Now, people might laugh about that today, but that was a thing.
Yeah.
It was typically a young person would go through Ciro's with the pink sheet, and they had the picture. It was 9 races. They had
you get the
thing,
chart, the photo,
everything. It was, and that was a thing. Let me have that. That was probably the best-selling newspaper of the day per capita, was the pink sheet at Ciro's of the day's results. Now, a 21-year-old would laugh at me and go, "What's so big a deal about that? Old man, get off my lawn."
Yeah, I can get the photo 10 minutes after the race. What are you talking about?
And forever.
Yeah.
They might say this, but so it's been a fun summer. I want to thank Boss Man, who did great on Fridays, and Seth, who did great on Saturdays. And Mike Callahan, he has to be today because he's our Wednesday guy.
Sunday was my big day. Saturday was not. Saturday was
No, you
water.
swept last weekend. We needed
Saturdays.
Your weekend thing. We needed every single inch. We might end up winning by what will look like a comfortable margin, but it was not.
Yeah, it came into the closing weekend very tight. Saw Anthony Affronti over at the track a couple of days ago, and he's had a nice meet.
Yeah,
making things work for the TU on their side in the battle. So
yep. So we'll see. I mean, it's a great day. It's always actually one of my favorite days of the year to go to the track. I have life obligations now. Our son about to start his junior year of high school, which is hard to imagine that on Bernardini Travers Eve that he was born, and that all these years have passed, and it has been a dream trip. And I think sometime late afternoon, Seth, my wife and son will get their kitchen back. They are tired of looking at the DRF things everywhere because I have Del Mar and Saratoga. Just like, they're very good about it. They haven't said word one, but I know my wife, and this is like, please get me my kitchen back. So late today, in between races, I will clear out daily racing form stuff, legal pads, more pens than you could shake a stick at, different colors as obviously the clothes I wear. But this is 80 in a row, partner. Never been done before. 2 years in a row. Neither of us got a cough or anything to prevent us, but 40 days in a row twice. And I mentioned it last year. It had never been done before. And
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
So
it's really, it's...
and it's been an adventure some days, but we have powered through.
It kind of
and it's been fun also. There was the Yeehaw. I don't think either of us realized it, but there was a loose horse behind us a couple days ago. People told me. Somebody said it after the show to us, but I didn't.
I think if you go back to the film, you see me kind of make a jerk to the
okay.
left.
I didn't realize it until there was something clearly going on. Now, when they originally told me, I thought they meant right here, but I think it was on Clare Court.
But it's going to be a long time.
That was also part of the excitement here. Yeehaw!
That was great.
We've had some thumbs up from cars driving by. We luckily only had 3 or 4 days of lawn maintenance.
Well, the one day he didn't get it tuned up. That was rough. Then he got it tuned up. And we can now say it. I mean, I don't believe in things like this, but I think you wanted me to shush that day. Whatever the work order is at the local restaurant that's 30 yards right through that thing, they have a different leaf blower schedule than they had years ago.
Yeah, no, he was every day.
And now he was
years.
no days, right?
Yeah,
he doesn't, whether it's a new owner or whatever. Yeah. But, it's just great to be here. Who told you? Randy Moss, the best
TV set in all of horse racing.
I mean, it really is. And who did I hear you had a guest? They were talking about. They brought over to Clare Court and kind of helped the horse out. Was it Phil Gleaves? Was he telling the story or somebody else?
Mark Henning? Jim Bond, maybe.
Jim Bond? Yeah, Jim Bond telling about, what this behind us.
That's what they all say. It's a mental kind of a thing.
You have the main track, and I think many regular viewers know that there's Oklahoma, which is world famous as a training track across Union Avenue. But this is completely different from both of those, and it's a very serene, beautiful place on sunny days, which we've had this whole week. So it's been great, and obviously there'll be a break September 14th. Forward your mail to some beach for Seth someplace, and it's almost time for me to start flying around following a 4-13 team. It's your Jets year.
I'm
He's
hoping.
A Jets fan, always frustrated. I'm a Rams fan as a season ticket holder, and
I'm
they won the
hoping, but
Super Bowl.
they can get to the midpoint and be undefeated, and I still won't be comfortable with
Well,
that's kind of their modus operandi.
You have 50-plus years of data. And my team follows up the Super Bowl win with the worst record ever by a defending Super Bowl champion, and I don't think it's going to get much better this year. I can't go to the first game, which is in Seattle, which I would like to do, but our son goes to a school that has a very pronounced ceremony for 9/11 every year. So I will not – he only has 2 more, so I will not miss it. I could not get back in time for it. So September 11th is a Monday. So I told my wife, I said, just so you know, I'm not going to Seattle. I said, I will be here and we will attend our son's school. And it's like, if you don't get there by 8 o'clock for parking, get a shuttle. Wow. It's a big to-do. Monday. So I'm guessing maybe the Brooklyn Cowboy?
Yeah, but first let me just hit on. I'm being told in my ear it's Bick. It's Bick, but we'll get to that in just a second.
All right.
A couple of things. Dino also just told me in my ear while you were talking, Woodbine is canceled today because of heat. So no Woodbine today. But I wanted to note, because this is always a fun story, and I will have Linda Rice on, Racing Across America at 10 o'clock. But she gained a little ground on Chad Brown yesterday. It's still tough, but Chad Brown now 35 wins, Linda Rice 33. They each have 10 horses entered today. Some, they have multiple horses in the same race. So we'll see how it plays out. It should be fun, though, on the jockey side of thing. Irad Ortiz, I guess we're seeing if he can break the record. He's got 62 wins versus 30. His record? 30. No, it's Ramon.
Oh, my goodness.
Versus his brother with 36. So
that was over a week, too.
They're chasing, but the trainer side of things should be fun. And let me hit on the promos before we get to the play of the day.
Is it today? There's got to be something big today for Labor Day down at 7.
I don't think there's anything particularly special. It's closing day here at the track, so you can go down to the clubhouse racebook and enjoy that. But I did want to reiterate up here, we've mentioned it a few times already, if you come up to the track, free access to the paddock suite, that nice big building, open bar downstairs and upstairs. You can check that out. Normally it's kind of group events and whatnot. But the last few days, or a few days this week, a fan appreciation week, they've allowed folks up there. Today is one of those days. So if you come up, just, go up, take a walk through, because it is a very nice facility and gives you an interesting perspective on that second floor out to the paddock. So that happens today here at the racetrack on closing day.
I can hear our producer in his mind thinking, next year, why don't we just have it just be racing across the 2 hours, because Mormino's going to talk for 30 minutes. There'll be nothing left. So we'll just have Mormino sit in and do closing day. Seth can get an hour off and just go and everything. Well, this is one of the most unique days in sports to me, Seth, which is it's closing day, which I think is great. I think it should be celebrated. But I think it's fair to say, and we've been up here for about 28, 29 Labor Days, it's really quiet over there. It doesn't matter what the weather is. The racing was great. Remember when they used to have that big wraparound, the four-go? The racing is outstanding. The hopeful could be 2 thumbs up today, just like the spin away. And it's a great time to come, and maybe it'll be a Yogi Berra thing. Too many people eventually start coming, but it's like the best day. But it's still, you can tell, we saw the section close the other day. It was kind of surprising. This is a great day to come. Great dichotomy that how quiet it is and how great it is at the same time. But I think it's probably time the DePaula people are going, do we get a commercial this year? The DePaula play of the day with Steve Bick on closing day.
When you think trucks, think DePaula. Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click.
This week's Chevy Silverado is just $539 a month with 0 due at inception. Yes, 0 down.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
Hey everybody, Steve Bick back with you for the last of the DePaula plays of the day. It's been a really fun DePaula play of the day season. Happy to have done it for a 3rd year and hope you cashed a few of the winners and some of the ones that hit the board over the course of the summer. We're going to try to send you out successful, and I'll come along with you, because our own Scherzando, who's been waiting since opening Friday to run on the grass after his first start at the meet, came off the turf, and then we scratched out of another opportunity about 2 weeks ago on the grass. So here it is, the fifth race, State Bred's going 5.5. Javier signs on for his fourth trip with Scherzando, and all the metrics, speed figures and pace and everything else, make him a major contender. But he's 12-1, and anything close to that, as far as I'm concerned, anything half that is going to be a good value. Scherzando, he's the 6 horse. There are a couple of entries, so it looks like he's the 4, but he's the 6. Try to get his maiden broken here as we wrap up the DePaula Play of the Day season. Thanks to DePaula, thanks to Capital OTB, and I hope you've had a great summer, everybody. We'll see you downstate. We'll see you in Kentucky. We'll see you at Breeders' Cup. Thanks.
When you think trucks, think DePaula.
The all-new 2024 Chevy Trax is here. Bigger, roomier, seats 5, and lots of technology. And just $449 a month, 0 down.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Closing day 2023. The opener, State Bred's 5.5 on the turf.
6, 12, 5, and 9. I'm going to put Split Strike on top for Christophe Clement. The first 2 starts weren't a whole lot to hang your hat on necessarily, but you look at the numbers, they match up okay with this bunch, and that's kind of what I'm keying on. The numbers aren't good enough if he was up against better horses, but against this group, I think those numbers are okay. Third start back, tries the turf today, comes in with a little bit of a bullet workout. And it's one of those also, I talk about this occasionally, has a win early sire in Golden Sense. And sometimes that win early doesn't play out in the first 1, 2, 3 starts, and they change something up. It's worth taking another look. And the change up here is the move to the grass. So Split Strike on top, Charging Fast, couple deep on the AE list, but I couldn't leave that one out. The Chad Brown trainee, I think will be live if that one gets in. But again, it's too deep on the AE list, so we'll see if that works out. Marco T, like my top pick, a Christophe Clement runner trying turf again. My top pick is trying turf for the first time. This one debuted on the turf down at Belmont, but like my top pick, tossed in a number that I think matches up very well with this. But, it's kind of how do I politely say it? It's not a super exciting bunch, so I don't think it's going to take a huge number. And I think the Clement runners are both right in the ballpark of what could take it. 6, 12, 5, and 9.
I agree with my topic. I think it might be a super exciting betting race. So I think if we get to 7-2, we have a big edge in this race with our runner. I think experience.
I'm not sure where the odds are going to go.
I agree, but I take $9 right now on Split Strike. Boy, I'll tell you.
But I'm just wondering if we'll get that because.
Oh, you think he's going to be a?
Yeah, I'm looking. That is the second choice.
Right, Marco T right next to him.
Or will those horses both take a little more than that? 7-2.
Well, the 3 horses they're going to bet, I presume, are the 2, 5, 6. I mean, it's unless a firster can really run, but. I also like now Split Strike has other bullets, and I don't talk about workouts too much, but this most recent one last Thursday is noticeably sharper than the other bullets, and you get the 3rd career start. I think that's a big thing. Marco T making the first start since May, 2nd career start. So 6, 5, 1. I did take Tom Morley's firster from the inside. So 6, 5, 1. Plenty of horses looking to get in on closing day because remember. In New York, right? They come back on the 14th.
Yeah.
So there's a big gap here if your horse is training well.
In the second race, we're looking at optional claimers, non-winners at 1 other than 9 furlongs the distance.
638 Copa Girl going out for Brad Cox, who's had a terrific second half of the meet. Exits a 1-mile race for second. Jess Catherine comes off of the Wilton, which had randomized, who followed up with the victory in the Alabama to be the 3rd start since April Fool's Day, and then Raging Sea, who might be best in here in the 2nd start of the year.
I have it 6, 3, 7, and 8. I'm going to put Copa Girl on top. Gets the 2 turns here. Last out was running a mile down at Ellis, but last out ran the mile here at Saratoga and just missed. I like the stretch out here. I think the stretch out will definitely be beneficial. Just Catherine ran second to Randomize in the Wilton, and I think subsequently Randomize flattered that performance. Did it with a 94 buyer, and is going to be very live coming back out of that. And Mariah's Appeal in the third spot. The Phil Bauer train, he showed some speed last time off a layoff, and I think. And just miss. I think off of that effort becomes interesting in here, stringing a couple together with some nice workouts leading into this as well. So I think that horse could be rather intriguing at a 4-1 morning line in the second. 6, 3, 7, and 8.
I know it hasn't been as much in your face, Phil Bauer 2023, but I think he's had a terrific meet when you look through it. Much quieter than last year. On to the third race. About the only stakes race that I am melancholy about, and that is the Bernard Baruch. And my feelings are based on that because this used to be the premier turf race at Saratoga, and now it is way down in the pecking order. It was a grade 1 maybe 2 or 3 years in the late 80s, but we didn't have much, and this was it. Now, the Diana was the premier filly race, and that's gone up to grade 1 status, but the Baruch is now down to listed after, like I said, long before the Sword Dancer came up here in 92. The Daryl's Joy used to be a listed stakes race. Now that's the 4-star Dave as a grade 1. But the Bernard Baruch, for us old fogies, was the highlight of the turf season. Steinlen, I think, used it as his prep for the Arlington Million.
Steinlen, there's a name. What? Lucas?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't thought of that name in a
Daniel
long time. 5, 4, and 2. I'll put Emirati on top.
We agree.
Early, middle of June, ran 6th in the poker. I think I'm going to go back to last year's Bernard Baruch and look for a return to that. But that is a question mark off the seasonal debut. But I'm going to see if this horse can rebound. At age 8, again, that's questionable. Witt in the second spot. The Rapoli Pletcher runner has run well on turf, and I think is going to be an okay fit here. But also question mark, hasn't been seen since the Pegasus World Turf in January. So is this horse ready to roll? And Pioneering Spirit tried the Sword Dancer last time. I'll ask Linda Rice if this one comes back. I kind of like the fact that you're taking the shot here. And I'm going back to the first start at this meet. Nice win against Optional Claimers. And again, third in the Sword Dancer, but they took the shot in the grade 1. Might be an interesting fit here. 5, 4, and 2.
I with Emirati. I just a couple quick notes. I think Brian Netto can confirm that I was the first one that got Dubawi as a stallion correct. He's below Frankel and Galileo, but he's next. The one question will be the Emirati, the fact that the 2019 Bernard Baruch is still on his PPs. That's a little rough. He's almost going Baruch to Baruch, but he did run in the poker. And if you remember, Gilded Time went from the Breeders' Cup Juvenile to the Breeders' Cup Sprint with no races. So Emirati almost doing something like that. 5-3-4 with a tear in my eye for the Bernard Baruch.
Dark Horse Play of the Day, the final Dark Horse Play of the Day today, brought to you by our friends at the Dark Horse Mercantile. And again, thanks to them for their sponsorship throughout the entire season. Maddie and Marianne, appreciate it. We had them on board with us earlier in the meet. And again, highly recommend swinging down to the Dark Horse Mercantile on Broadway in Saratoga, just down the street. Impressions of Saratoga, both are places that you just have a lot of fun kind of browsing through. And again, they're open late. So enjoy stopping by. And again, thanks to the team for sponsoring the Dark Horse Play of the Day. I have not lived up to their sponsorship. We got off to a decent start, I thought, the first two and a half weeks. And then, like yesterday, I was getting some nice. Yesterday, it was really so frustrating.
You got run over.
But it's the 51. I thought, we're going to do it at 24-1. So I'm looking today, and the last day I wanted to find a price, and so I'm going to use Asymmetric, the one in the 8th race, which is down in my mix, but I was kind of trying to shop for something interesting, and this one at the 8-1 price may fit the bill. It's Chad Brown, Klarvich runner, lightly raced, had a March to August layoff. The comebacker was, okay, maybe one to build on. There's a race 3 back down at Belmont that I'm hoping we get back to. And I think second start of the season, maybe we do get back to that. I will say I didn't have asymmetric up in my mix really, but as I say, I was shopping for a price, and this one was the most interesting to me, and I want to see if I can go out on a high note here. So I'll take a little pop here with asymmetric. So today's dark horse play of the day, race 8, horse number 1, asymmetric.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, the middle, pick 4 and pick 5s.
It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the Dark Horse.
For more than 4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 101-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 101 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now. Welcome back to the Handicappers Report on this Monday. Monday at Saratoga. It's the last day. It's Labor Day. So we will try to go out with a bang. Hopefully you will too. I ran into a lot of people at the track yesterday, and virtually everyone I ran into was coming back today. Nobody wants to not be here on the closing day, because 10 more months until we do it again. But closing day, fourth race. Oh, you're absolutely right. There may be the boutique meet. For Belmont Stakes. We'll see.
We have no announcement for that. We have no artist renderings drawing for what
Belmont,
which I
think are tied together. I think it's the date is all going to depend on how they decide the work will be handled and whatnot.
I mean, that's true, right? No one has seen artist renderings drawing of what
not that I know
Belmont Park will look like, because I'm very intrigued, because they're in a much tougher spot than Gulfstream, because they have the Belmont Stakes.
Yeah, but I think the game plan is to have a much reduced, obviously, facility, and then just bring in temporary bleachers and those chalet type of, like the golf tournament the other day that I was watching at the beginning of the summer, where around the 18th green, they got like 3-story things that they bring in. Fourth race this afternoon, plain vanilla 40K claimer, 7 furlongs the distance.
831. I liked Lord Captain the other day. Scratch out, hasn't run since the August race. Third one since the start. I'm throwing out the 1.25 mile race. This is a better spot. Gemography for Chris Engelhardt, making the second start since the depths of February. Good morning. See, we have fans. See, and then number 1, Float On, 831.
I have a 9, 3, 7, and 8. HP Moon on top. Linda Rice in the trainers battle. It should be a lot of fun to see how it plays out today. The last race wasn't much. I think the horse is better than that. Does get a little class relief. They could provide the rebound. Gemography in the second spot comes in off a good try last time from a February to August layoff. Should be a player again today. And Senior Jobim in the third spot. This one's going to be fun. Mark this on your program. Fourth race today. Steve Asmussen trainee with his son Keith in the saddle. We'll see how it plays out. This is a claim for owner-trainer Steve Asmussen. I think a player off the win last time. The claim moves up a little bit, but I don't think that's going to be an obstacle. Then the fourth, 9, 3, 7, and 8.
We had state-bred juveniles in the opener. Now we have state-bred 3-year-olds and up, dashing 5.5 on the turf.
1, 4, 3, and 6. I thought the 8 could be a little bit interesting, too. Linda Rice, second-time starter for Lady Sheila, the La Verdad team. That one just missed my mix, but if you're going in that direction, I will not argue. But I'm going to use Russie on top for Jim Bond. Had Jim and Tina Bond in the other day. That was a nice, fun interview we had with them, and then they hung around shot the breeze for about an hour about talking about the state of the game and whatnot. And right on cue, there goes the Jim Bond contingent.
Part of the flotilla.
With the Rolls Royce of golf carts as well. But I'll put this one on top of the first couple of starts so far at the season, both off the turfers and both good performances. But today they get onto the turf. We'll look for this one to move forward. Valois in the second spot off a good near miss in a very similar event last time for Christophe Clement. And our man Steve Beck is play of the day. His Scherzando. He owns DT Stable. And this has been a nice little horse for him. Hasn't gotten a win, but has certainly put money in the bank and has run well on occasion. Getting back to the turf, Scherzando will be interesting today. 1, 4, 6, and 3.
Now, they would be interested to talk to. Did they stay in the off the turfer to be in line to get this spot? Because my top pick is I'm 5-4-3. Vaunted. It's 10-1 on the morning line. Needs to be all of that because Jim Ryerson, who I love, just look at these stats. Turf sprints, 0 for 20. Not good. Dirt to turf, 0 for 25. Now, to me, that should have an asterisk because I'm wondering if Jim Ryerson stayed in the 2 dirt races. They, hit the board in both of them. They got paid. Like, to get to this spot, or they think this Austrian Golden Sense can do both of them? I do. But we need to get a price based on those stats on Vaunted. Valois for second, adds blinkers today. Then from the rail, Horatio De Paz sends out a runner who got beat at 14-1 while running well in an off the turfer. I'm fearful of the less well. 5-4-3.
Sixth race for me was a absolute. I don't remember this ever happening before.
I am going to say the same thing, so I can't wait for the next sentence.
I would think you would be in the same boat. I would think anybody looking at this race, I handicapped the race, and as I typically do, then took a look at the AEs, and I said, all the best horses are on the AE list.
Roll it. Put the chicklets up. I have never done this and folks,
I just couldn't use that many, but I used the 11.
I have probably done 4,000 shows for Capital Off Track Betting as a handicapper. This is, without doubt, the first time I have ever done that based on exactly what you said. There is a chance I don't get in. It's closing day, etc. But Seth, I agree 100%.
The AEs,
the AEs
everything over
race.
The body of the field.
I have nobody in the body of the race.
And as I say, I have never in my life seen that where it's such a dichotomy was a word you used earlier, and that's what this is.
And I also want to say, only because of how strongly I feel, I don't think I've done a good service to those who watch me because I personally try and stay with the AEs. You will sometimes grab the first one, figuring, one scratch is a high probability. But there's a chance I'm giving you horses in a race that have, well, technically they are not required to run. I mean, they need help in here. And I even thought, Seth, that I thought this race had a low probability of any scratches. But that's where it is. First time ever.
I'll tee up here. 6th race, State Bred Maiden Specials going 6.
To me, it's all 11, 12, 13. I mean, I want them in that order. The numbers work out, but I agree, Seth. So in the main body, all 10 are firsters. My 3 AEs ran the type of numbers, especially with New York State Press. I was talking yesterday about ways and means. Nowadays, I like to see like a 78 to an 82 to start. With New York Reds, no offense, 64 to 69 is real good for me, and they have it. But to me, you got the 10 firsters. If they all go, I'm going to have a bagel for you, folks. And in a small way, I do apologize. But these are the 3 horses that I think tower over the field if any of the 3 get in.
I'm right with you. I just couldn't use all 3 of them. But I'm right with you. 11, 12, 13 jump out at me. I used the 11 on top. Egalos the Great, who I thought ran very well in debut for George Weaver, who was having a great meet. Tried to get him hit in the last few days, but he was busy every day. But he's having a great meet. Owned by RAP Racing. If you're not familiar, that's Rick Pitino. I saw him a few days ago, but I think he must have gone back because then subsequently I saw he had a basketball press conference.
You didn't have your Syracuse t-shirt on, did you?
No, it was just a few days, literally within the last week I saw him up here. So I'll use that one. But
how do you name the horse after him, right?
The others, yeah, that's right. Second spot, Solo's Fury in the body of the field. I thought this one, the last couple of workouts seemed to tout this as being live. And AZ You Chase Me, or As You Chase Me, off the bullet workout with Sharp Ash Tech on top, who I think is an interesting win early sire. Practical Joke, the sire of Wisecracker for Linda Rice, the 9, could also be interesting for Chester and Mary Broman. But for me, 11, 6, 3, and 9. And again, I don't think I've ever seen a race where there's that much of a disparity between the horses I think are great, and they're all on the outside looking in, and the body of the field.
All right, take a quick break. When we come back, late pick 3. Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Oops, my bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes. In front, but here comes High Chaparral. High Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Bob. These two arch rivals head to head with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It's going to be a 3-horse photo finish to the turn. Here's the wire. Photo finish.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. State Bred's entry-level allowance, a mile 16th on the inner.
7, 10, 13, and 6. I'm going to put Overacting on top. It's Chad. It's Klarovich, a runner that looked very good in debut. It's tough. It's always a little mountain and a little obstacle to overcome to step out of a maiden breaker into the next condition. No matter what the condition is, when you move from one to the next, sometimes it'll take a start to figure it out. But, boy, this horse looked really good in the debut effort. I think this will not be as much of an obstacle as maybe it is for horses sometimes. Overacting on top, Waterville in the second spot, Christophe Clement runner. I think it's going to fit okay with this group. You look at the record, 8 starts over the past couple of seasons, no wins. Now, seconds and thirds, and so typically in the hunt, and does have a style where you're up against it a little bit, at least in recent races, coming from kind of out of the clouds. But I do think Waterville, again, fits with this group. And then 13 is first horse on the AE list. If this horse gets in off a couple of wins and a second in the last 3 starts, I think this horse could also be a little bit interesting in with this group. So 7, 10, 13, and 6.
I have this race as a Mount Everest race, which might surprise some folks. Overacting is 3-1 on the morning line, and Waterville is only 7-2. I think there's going to be separation between these two. And I will say this, after Waterville, I think the race just explodes. If Overacting doesn't go forward, I think you're going to see bombs away here. But I like Waterville up against it here. Smoky Eyes and Snowy Evening in a Mount Everest race for me.
Race number 8 this afternoon will be a state bred non-winners of one other than 3/4 of a mile.
Lots of state bred races today. 4-7-6 Agility going to the post for the 16th time, has that win. Isn't even on the page, so we're at least 0 for 12 since then. But this was a play really about Jorge Abreu, late in the meet. This horse has some back races that I think are very competitive at 8-1. Number 7, Fast Buck Freddy, Jorge Abreu's other runner who's a bigger price, takes on winners for the first time. And then Be the Boss for Mike Maker, 4-7-6.
I have an 8, 6, 4, and 9. I'm going to put Win for Gold on top, going out for a 10-strike Marshall Graham and Michelle Giangiulio off a couple of tries so far at the meet. Nice second place finish. Nice win last time in Starter Allowance Company. I think a cozy fit with this non-winners of one state bred group. So in good form, good fit with the bunch. Be the Boss in the second spot. Mike Maker trainee that tried this company last time and just missed at 7. The cut back to 6 today could be intriguing. And then Agility in the third spot. I'm going to draw a line through the last race. I have to believe the horse is better than that, and the prior numbers are square fit here. 8, 6, 4, and 9.
We'll take our final break of the season on the Handicappers Report. When we come back, the final pick 3.
For more than 4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 101-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 101 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
The only thing better than watching the races is watching your own racehorse. With nearly 20 years experience in the racing industry, Bonaventure Staples' share-based ownership program enables everyday fans to become part owner of a thoroughbred for far less than you might think, with all the ownership perks at Saratoga, Belmont, Aqueduct, and other great tracks. Experience the thrill and lifestyle of owning your own thoroughbred racehorse. Learn more at bonaventurestables.com.
And it's getting warm, ladies and gentlemen. Race number 3, open company, maiden special weights, 5.5 on the turf.
3, 8, 7, and 9. I'm going to put American Know-How on top. The Tom Morley runner, I think, comes in very good and improving form. If that improving form continues, I think is very, very intriguing in here. Alexis Zorba, European import, had a couple of starts at Saratoga that were okay. Saratoga 2022. So this one's been on the sidelines a while for Chad Brown and Peter Brandt, but lightly raced, and I think this is the kind that could come back and be very interesting off the comeback, some equipment changes, and then collect from Ike in the 3rd spot. Hasn't been seen since early July. Was claimed out of that event, but it showed some flashes that say this horse fits in here. 3, 8, 7, and 9.
Here's hoping we get the 12-1 on off the clock in the second career start. 9-3-2.
Race number 10, the last feature of the meet, and this is the way to go out. This is a really nice edition of the Hopeful Grade 1 event. The Hopeful 2-year-olds vying for $300,000, 7 furlongs the distance.
I have it 8 deep.
Yeah, no,
Hopeful, which makes
tough.
a great race. We have one horse in common. I am 4, 10, 11. Mission Beach shipping in for Bob Baffert off the Del Mar. Victory at odds on in debut. Number 10, BU, the horse that we share off of the debut loss at 3-2, but a good effort. And then Pirate, who was tipped out all world good thing on debut. The one note I'll make in here, Valentine Candy, if you haven't heard, Andy Sterling did a great job on talking horses yesterday. DRF.com, Andy Beyer explains it. Valentine Candy's buyer speed figure is not going to be 66. It's going to be, I think, 85. So you should have that in your handicapping, meaning that Valentine Candy absolutely fits in here. Dismiss the 66. 4, 10, 11.
7, 10, 5, and 6. Muth coming in for Bob Baffert off a couple of nice tries out in Southern California. It just looks like this one could be one of those Baffert runners that's super dangerous. BU for Todd Pletcher comes in off a near miss. This is still a maiden, but I wouldn't be surprised to see an improved performance. And Timberlake for Brad Cox. That maiden breaker out at Ellis may tout this one as being very talented as well. 7, 10, 5, and 6.
Maybe we should wrap up the meet also in front of the fans. But we're going to be on the turf at a mile and 16. State Breds.
5, 8, 3, and 6. Fake Celebrity on top. This is a sibling to Brooklyn Strong, who you might remember won 3 of the first 4 starts of the career, including the Remsen. So I thought with a little bit of breeding, the Chad Brown trainee was intriguing. Chulligan in the second spot. Christophe Clement runner that on the turf debut last time did not impress, but I thought, again, it's one of those, might fit okay with this group. And Lieutenant Mitchell going out for Linda Rice, I think, is live as well off the last effort. 5, 8, 11, and 6.
Top gun. I'm Fake Celebrity. We landed on the same firster. The offspring of Practical Joke. Lieutenant Mitchell for all Top Gun fans. And then King Creaser making the third start. I think will fit in here at a double-digit price. So 5-11-7 puts a bow on 2023 for me. So personally, I want to thank, obviously, Mick and Dino up here, Danny back in the studios, another Anthony jumped on board about the middle of the meet. They have the hard work. Obviously, getting paid to talk and dress isn't really that much of an achievement. So I want to thank those guys who are here before me, and they're here after me. They don't get on front of the camera. Sometimes they do a better job than this in the front side of the camera. But thank you, guys. It's not easy. It's going to be hot today. Linda Rice is going to be on in a moment. The business casual guy stays. The good humor guy goes.
I would just say it's been fun, and again, congratulations on a nice meet with the knocking out of the park with the ROI, and so good job there. And we'll see you down in the studio.
Hopefully, from your lips to God's ears. Hopefully, in about 10.5 months, we get the chance to do this again, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a fantastic. I mean, I know the weather has been tough, but it's always great to be here. We'll see you next time.
You've been watching the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report has been brought to you by Thorough Pace, Premium Racing Analytics, allowing bettors to identify races with extreme pace scenarios in a matter of seconds. Capital OTB's mobile wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with Capital OTB's mobile wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.